Greetings. Let's just get this question out of the way. Are you a thin-skinned leader? Are you one of those people who can't stand anyone questioning anything that you have to say or questioning your authority? I don't like to get political. I really don't. But sometimes you can't help it. So we have this man in Washington who is the leader of the country right now, who, from all accounts, is fairly thin-skinned. He doesn't take advice from anybody. He thinks he's right all the time. The problem is there's a lot of things he doesn't know. There's a lot of things every single president, every single person who's been president hasn't known. That's why they hire people, or at least you hope they hire people for certain industries and certain things like to lead the army and to do all these other kinds of things. You hire people who have knowledge that you don't. And you usually go in and you rely on that knowledge to make a better decision. That's really what leaders are supposed to do. You're not supposed to know it all. Yes, in my last video I talked about it being okay to be the smartest person in the room, but I also said that it doesn't mean you know everything. But I've known some people in my years who think that they knew every single thing about their job. Now, I'm not going to lie. I know a lot about the work that I do. I really do. I mean, I've been all over the place. And yet, I will acknowledge that there are some things that I didn't know. And there's still some things I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of changes in the last, what is it? Like, it's almost 36 years I've been in healthcare. There's been a whole lot of changes. ICD-10, for example. You know what? They had this thing called ICD-9. We're talking about diagnosis codes for those who aren't in healthcare. Basically, there used to be 16,000 diagnosis codes. I was pretty good at that. I could go down the medical records and help, ask certain questions, and I could look in the book and find these. Now there's over 111,000. You know what? Way beyond my expertise. So if I went in today, I could read a medical record, I could ask some questions, but there's no chance I would ever have to be able to help with the diagnosis. It's just impossible. You have to know where to stop. And you have to know the right people to ask the questions to. And you have to figure out sometimes the right question to ask to get the answer you need. But you can't be thin-skinned if you're going to be in leadership. Yes, you have to be strong because ultimately the decisions come down to you to try to make the right decision. But you need information. And you can't just go off half-cocked thinking that you know it all. I've been there. Trust me, I went into one hospital, and this was when I was still an employee, and we merged with another hospital, and there was a process that they were doing that I thought was convoluted. So I said, well, let's do this, and they kept telling me, you can't do that. And I'm thinking, I hear that all the time. Of course you can do it. You know what? They couldn't do it. Why couldn't they do it? Because their system hadn't been updated in 6 years. So they didn't have the capability to do what I wanted them to do, what the system should have been able to do. If you don't update your computer systems, there's a lot of things you can't do. Trust me on that. But I didn't know that. I should have asked, but I didn't think to ask that question. Why would I assume that a hospital wouldn't have updated their computer for 6 years? There's the thing. Sometimes you can't assume things. You can't be thin-skinned as a leader, and you have to be open and willing to accept that maybe there's certain things that can happen. Now, to be a little bit fair to me, I did ask them why it wouldn't work, and they just said it just doesn't work, which doesn't really help me out much. So I did at least try that, but I should have kept asking other questions, and I just didn't know the questions to ask. So can you be thin-skinned and be effective? No. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what? I messed up. And I told those people, you know what? I messed up here. I didn't know the right questions. I didn't know your system. I didn't know all this other kind of stuff. It helped me long term as a consultant because now I don't show up and expect that people are going to know certain things. But at that time, it had always kind of worked before. So that's my question to you today. Are you a thin-skinned leader? Do you work for someone who you think is a thin-skinned leader? If it's you, what are you going to do to try to fix it? If it's someone else, how do you work with that person? I'd really love to know. My name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like this video, click the like button. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe. I'm supposed to say that. I'm getting used to saying that more often. Y'all have a great day.